Thank you for inviting me. My wife was planning to come, but she had a doctor's appointment today at the other end of the town. Okay, what I'm going to share today is the school called Hope Lutheran Church, 67 hectares. 67 hectares in Antananarivo, 67 hectares is one of the poorest areas in this city. We get in touch with the congregation, the Hope Lutheran Church in the 67 hectare in 2006 after our work at the Lutheran World Federation in Geneva for 10 years. We wanted to retire, but the synod said, well, we still have a few years left, so why don't you go? So we went there. There we met with the program called AMTD. In Malagasy, it's AMTD, Asha Misiuna Antananarivo, meaning mission work in urban area. This program, as a matter of fact, I conceived of it in 1977 when I was working for the AWF, then as Urban Industrial Mission in Africa consultant. But then it did not start then. It was started later on by 1983. And they picked two churches in Antananarivo to have this program going. One is Abatufnaki, and one is the Hope Lutheran Church. And the LWF in Geneva provided some fund to start it going. Because part of my mission work in this urban industrial mission in Africa is to provide help for the urban poor. This program, IMTD, went on in the 67 hectares for 3 years. And then the money didn't come from Geneva anymore. So the program just stopped. But the women's group in that church picked up the program and supported the program by themselves. Then we came in 2005 as a pastor there. And we realized that the AMTD was not doing so well. And then my wife took it over and emphasized education. Education for the adults, read, write, and counting, and also for the children. But then about 6 months later, we realized there were so many kids playing in the streets, in the garbage dumps, and then try to find some ways to help them. So we had a schooling called trying to get their education grade to the level that are acceptable for the public school. Remise à niveau, they call it. So we did that. And then we placed those students in the public school. And then after a month, my wife and some women went to visit those schools, and the kids were not there. Where were they? And the teachers said, we don't know, but they were good students, but they are not here. Then we asked their parents. The parents said, well, there is no food at the public school. So they go out to find food for themselves. Then we realized that we should have a normal school system going on at the church. And we started with 40 kids. But then the need becomes stronger. In 2009, some leaders at the church asked my wife and I if we were interested in what they call Jubilee year. 45 years of ministry, have a Jubilee. I said, I'm not interested in it. I don't need that money. We have a house already. They said, well, but you can do something else. Yeah. like what? Have a big school here. So that's why we had this Jubilee thing, and we raised some funds, just a little bit of fund to start. And then my wife and I were invited by Reverend Paul Cord and Marilyn Cord to help them for 3 months in Tucson, Arizona. They were going through some kind of problem because of the ELCA, the church was splitting. So we went there for 3 months. We didn't get salaries, but a roof over our heads and some food per month. But then we had a big fundraising, and we got $27,000, and we sent it back to continue building. So we have the big building that we have there, a 3-story school with 12 classrooms in there. Now we have children, 185 children there, students, from grade 1 to grade 9. In French, it's classe de 11e jusqu'en 3e. And we have 14 teachers and 4 workers, like cooking, because they have food every noon. Now, to tell you one disturbing thing, this food at noon is the only meal they have for 24 hours.
Okay.
When they go home, they don't have food for the evening, they don't have breakfast. They come they have food only at noon. That shows how poor these families are. And they're raised by single mothers who are they doing what do you call it, washing clothes. Yeah, laundry. 6 years ago, they had it twice a week from one customer. Then 3 years later, it's once a month, and now it's once every 2 months. That shows the degrading level of poverty in this country. These women were married at first, but after two children, the husband would say, well, I have to go up north to find jobs. But they are here. Yeah, they don't go up north. When they visit their families to kick them around and things. But these students are very, very intelligent. Our CEPE exams for the last 14 years, 100% every year. And the BEPC for 7 years, 87.5% every year for 7 years. So they are very smart. Now we have students at the university and at other free universities. The thing is, where do they go after the BEPC? Some of them can make it to the government lycée. The others who cannot make it, we place them to other schools around. But they come back at noon to eat at the refectoire. Yeah. We have hopes for the future to continue the present system, building lycée. That means to have grade secondary grade 10, 11, and 12. So when they leave the school, they go to the university straight out. But that needs some building and doing. And then also to open technical schools, because there are children that they are not interested in going to the university, interested to find jobs right away to help their family. Yeah. But we're gonna do it in a different way. That means after 1 year, the student will have 4 different skills. Yeah, not only one. At the same time, we have what we call informatique. How do you say that in English? Computer science. The students go there for 1 month program. After 1 month program, they are able to do whatever is required. So every month we graduate about 40 or 35 students from universities or from all over. They study there. We have 3, 4 teachers there, they are not paid. They are volunteers, but they are very good teachers. And 2 months ago, we've get a grant from the GGGF, the Global Green Grant Fund, to introduce the children to environment care and trash recyclage, we call it. Our challenge, we don't say the problem, but our challenge is the budget. Yeah, we have a budget of around $25,000-$30,000 a year. The church, which is close by, is helping with 1/5 of that a year. So the 95%, we have to look for it. Mostly my wife and I are, going all over the world, mostly the United States, the Protestant Church in France, and then here in Madagascar. Some people give 1 bag of rice or whatever. But so far, we haven't come into a problem where we didn't have money for the salaries of these teachers. That's what we are doing. The children, they pay no inscription fees, no tuition, but we provide for their food every noon. We provide their tools, notebook, books, and pens and everything. And we provide for their blouse, and also once a year during Christmas, we provide clothes for them and shoes. So this is the only school of this kind in the Madagascar Lutheran Church, one of a kind. We have many Lutheran schools, but the children pay. But here, the children are being taken care of. As I said, 1 meal every 24 hours. That's tough, but we cannot provide more than that. So we need a lot of prayer, and especially for the AMTD association to continue working.
Wow, wonderful.